the challenger, fighting against the reigning heavyweight, the 30-something-year-old Galilean, the Son of God incarnate, second person of the Trinity. Israel, take two. Adam, take two. Who's going to win? Well, the bell rings, they start fighting. Satan comes at him, turn the stone into bread. Punch. Jesus blocks it, goes right back. Man shall not live by bread alone. Punches Satan right in the face. Satan's like, okay, fine. He's reeling back. You win round one. But that's just round one. There is a round two. And in round one, Jesus is able to defeat the temptation for provision, but then Satan comes back with the temptation for power, as we see in verses 5 through 8. And the devil took him up and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time, and said to him, to you I will give all this authority and their glory, for it has been delivered to me, and I give it to whom I will. If you then will worship me, it will all be yours. And Jesus answered him, it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. Now, what's wrong with power? Satan's offering Jesus power. I don't think there's anything wrong with power in itself. Just like with provisions. I think a lot of politicians have power, a lot of religious leaders, a lot of military leaders have had power, and they do all right with it. But some people don't do all right with power. It's that desire for power, that ambition for power, especially above our desire and ambition for the will of God. That is the sin. That is the temptation. But I do think it's interesting that Satan tempts Jesus with power, with a kingdom, because we know Jesus will get a kingdom. As we know in the Bible, God promises to give all things to the Son. He will be king in Revelation. He will rule over the new heavens and the new earth. So, is this really tempting to Jesus? Thanks for the offer, Satan, but I know I already have this coming. What's the temptation here? I think the temptation is getting the kingdom without the cost of the cross. I think the temptation is authority without suffering. No pain, no rejection, no disciples running away, no people hating him, immediate success, immediate worship, at no cost to himself, no cross. Well, there is some cost to himself. He would need to worship Satan. But he doesn't do that. Why doesn't he do that? Ultimately because, same strategy as before, use Scripture, learn lessons from the past, but even more so, he loved to worship God more than he desired this power. We may know the Scriptures, but do our hearts reflect the message of the Scripture the way that Jesus' heart reflects the message of the Scripture? Do our hearts truly desire to worship and serve God more than we desire power or ambition for power? So that's what we need. That's the only true way to beat temptation, is to love the good thing more than we love the bad thing. Good love displaces bad love. I am a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan. I love them. I was very upset when Adam Wainwright and Chris Carpenter didn't win the Cy Young. They were better than Tim Lincecum. But being a true Cardinals fan, you learn to love them. And there is no temptation for me. There is no allure to putting on a Cubs jersey, going to Wrigley Field and rooting for the Cubs. That is not a temptation for me. I don't want to do that in the least, because my love for the Cardinals leaves no room for love of their enemy. And likewise, Jesus' love for the Father left no room for the possibility of loving or worshiping something else, certainly something contrary to what the Father wants. Our problem is that we love the Cubs. Our problem is that we love the thing that we shouldn't, more than we love the thing that we should. But Jesus resists because he does not love temptation more than the Father. So round one, Satan offers provision. Jesus counters. Round two, power. Jesus counters. Round three, Satan tempts Jesus with protection. And Jesus withstands the temptation for protection. If you read with me, verses 9 through 13. And he took him to Jerusalem and set him on the pinnacle of the temple and said to him, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down from here, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you to guard you, and on their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone. And Jesus answered him, it is said, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test. And when the devil had ended every temptation, he departed from him until an opportune time. So here you see Satan change his strategies a little bit. He'd been trying to do some face jabs, and now he's realized that's not working, so let's try some body blows. He's changing things up. He's actually using Jesus' strategy against him. You're going to quote Scripture, Jesus. How about I do that too? Two can play at this game. Well, Satan doesn't play the game the right way. He doesn't understand the heart of these verses that he is quoting from the Psalms. He knows the words in his head, but not in his heart. And so we see that Satan wants Jesus to commit a sin. Well, what sin is there in this? I mean, God did promise to save him, right? So it's not like you're getting God to do something he said he wouldn't do. Well, I think there's two sins that might be at stake here. One